Can you hold the water? Thanks very much for coming. We're totally thrilled. Those of us who've been in Seed Savers for a while are always hoping to spread the word about growing your own food. And the big push for us at this particular time is to get something going for the winter. Some of you who live in Comox don't need very much cover. Those of us who live out in Merville need a good deal more. We're at least a zone or two colder. So there's two steps along the way. One of them is to build raised beds. I highly recommend that you build raised beds. The paper there has got too much detail on it to look at now. So let me just run through it. If possible, get cedar. If you can afford it, get something more than 2x6s. These are 2x6s here, and these ones are obviously bigger and a full to thickness. Hardy Hill Mills is an excellent place, and there are undoubtedly others. It's just that they're close to us. You can buy wood with splits and knots and everything else. It really doesn't matter. I'm talking, Dave. I'm talking, okay? Thank you. How do you do it? You can have various lengths. We have two 55-foot beds at my place. This one's 8 feet long. So about an hour ago, Carrie and I cut two 8-footers, two 4-footers, and we have, as you can see, cardboard. Very important step. Don't think that you can get by just slapping this down on the lawn and that the lawn won't make itself build. So cardboard freely available, a couple of places opposite the Sally Ann, that's over by Walmart, any of the furniture stores, Sears and so on. Make sure you get full coverage, have it going out to the side. This probably should go out further. If you don't have access to trucks or whatever it takes to get the cardboard, use newspaper, at least 15 layers of it. If you're fussy there, you knock those weeds back. So, we've got the boards. This is not the only way to do it, but it's quite accessible to me. Let's pretend that I've just done this and that it's not square. How do you do it? Some of you know that to make a square structure is to first of all put it together. We just pretend that we're doing that. So you measure that diagonal.
Can you
shows 107.
Yeah.
Measure that diagonal.
Nick,
Yes.
can you come the volume up a bit?
Yes, I can. This is 110. So if that's 107, this is 110. We're going to have to do something about kicking this thing over. Now we go back, and you just do that back and forth until you get the same. It'll be 108.5. What I think is really important are these straps. And those of you who are not close, please put yourself into the point where you can see this stuff. Don't you builders got it? Home Depot and all the rest. This is what it looks like. Don't get the cheap stuff. Get the heavy stuff. Purple package, 20 gauge. And I use screws for putting it in. Screws grip better than nails. If you depend on the pulling power of nails alone, it's not secure enough as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to be fooling around with this thing in the winter time. How people can get along without one of these drills. One, I won't bore you with doing both of them, but anyway, top and bottom, it's a small price to pay for being working. Set it. Very secure, right? And then you simply pour in soil. I would suggest you get a soil testing kit. South Country probably has them. The old Buckerfields, they probably have them. They sell.
Black Creek?
Maybe even Black Creek, yeah. The little Lamont kits. They look pricey, but if you're way off, with pH or the nitrogen or what have you, it pays to fix that instead of trying and finding, oh, the plants don't want to grow, all that, okay? So any questions about that? Don't feel that you have to get exactly these boards. Whatever you've got.
If you want to put another layer on that.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
You just put it right on top, hold it there until someone's throwing some soil in, and away you go. You don't have to.
We have friends
Yeah,
too
or you
who
could
use a
tonel it,
backpack, so they both
because
put
it doesn't want to go anywhere. The soil will meet up.
If you put a chunk of square rebar down the side,
Yep,
you can put your cloche right into that.
that's right. Okay. All right, so if we're okay with this,
Can I just ask
yeah,
one
please.
question? Why did you select cedar and not fir?
Well, this
That
one
is
happens to be cedar, or
Oh.
fir, because that's what was available at the time. Cedar will last longer.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll last a bit longer.
But no creosote,
No,
railroad ties like that or anything?
well, yeah, what we've done at our place is to make these very long beds, as I say, we use red cedar, and I think they're going to last longer than I am. I think, they'll be really quite a long time. Okay, hi.
When I was talking at Home Depot, they said you could use this pressurized wood, because they said the latest pressurized wood isn't like the old stuff with the
You'd
arsenic.
want to check with it, make sure it doesn't have the arsenic in it, and I don't, can anyone fill in about what would be okay, because I don't want to be telling people to use poison here.
Borax treated wood might be okay.
Which kind?
Borax treated.
Borax treated.
But otherwise I wouldn't go.
Borax is
Wouldn't
not
at
good
all.
for plants.
Hey?
Borax is not good for plants.
Depends on the concentration. If it gets too high. Central Builders, Central Builders sells little powder packs, which they, well, and all the writing on it and all my experience with it shows that they don't hurt plants. They don't hurt us. We're pretty healthy people. And we've been using boards that have been washed in the inside with it, right? So you might go to the paint counter and chat up the people there about it.
No.
Well, the other thing you can do is go to on the internet, go to the company, and they should be able to, they should give you the information on the toxicity.
Yeah, it's made in something on the world basis, but anyway, yeah.
Well,
so it's.
I know, Nick, I know about that stuff. It's supposed to preserve the wood and make it look old. That's what I put on my fence over there.
Yeah.
And it's not toxic to humans, people, plants, animals, etc. But it's very expensive.
Yes,
But you
it
don't
is.
And what's
use
it
very
called?
much. It lasts for 8.
What's it called? The
5
product?
5 gallons worth is
don't
about
know.
$65, and it's a little bit of powder, and you mix it with water.
Yeah, and I suspect it's mostly borax.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be suspicious, being a biology person, that if it's not
Yeah.
toxic, is it going to be killing the fungi and the bacteria that want to get into it?
I think it's better to invest your money in the cedar.
Yeah.
Yeah?
In the
Yeah,
long
it'll
term.
last longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well there's obviously a debate there. Yeah. Anyway, okay, the other thing that I'd like to talk about is putting a cloche on here. Now, if you saw the email or the newspaper article, you saw a big black pipe. This is 160-pound, thick-walled, black poly, very nice to work. And if it's in a situation like this, it struck you, the force that you have to push on this to kink it would be way more than snow. That's what we're trying to deal with here is snow. Rain, who cares? In fact, it's much than other rain. However,
What gauge was that, Nick? What was the gauge?
this stuff
160?
here- Yeah, but there's a big but here. This stuff costs $1.15 a running foot. This is a thick wall, half-inch pipe, which is something like 30 cents. We're all
Right.
trying to save a buck here.
It's 40 cents at Home Hardware.
40 cents? Guess you went to the wrong store. No. Okay, so
What size is that again?
this is, well,
1/2
40
inch?
cents we find
No,
quite
but
good.
the size. Right.
Oh, this is half-inch, but it's a thick wall. Schedule 40. If you ask for Schedule 40, but it's definitely the thick wall.
I thought it was 28 cents a thing.
Yeah, I don't know that we are looking at the prices the right thing. Okay, so let's say that we have a bed like this, and we're not going to have anything terribly tall. So the way we have done this is to get some rebar. They'll buck it up for you down at the builders. This is 1/2 inch.
No, sorry, this is 3/8.
3/8. Yeah. 1 centimeter. And what we have done is to step this box off in 2-foot sections. Drive this in with making sure that we've got a foot into the ground and 6 inches above. Anna, can you get in the far side? Just put it against your knee. Done.
It must be in the ranges. Or do you have the right one?
No, that's my friend's big house. Just sits underneath.
Pink mark?
Maybe it's in there. I would think. It would have to be enough to be about 6
This
inches.
one's got a joint in it.
6 inches
That
above.
made me think that it wasn't going to be
Oh, yeah,
terribly
here's
good,
the 3.
but
Well,
it
didn't you
doesn't
think it
matter much.
12 inches in and
18 inch high by 1/2 inch rebar.
There's no golden rule on this thing. It's just whatever works.
But it works the same way, just in the ground, in a raised bed without the frame. Would it work just as well if you weren't using the frame? Sure. If the rebar were in the ground?
If the bars were firm.
They
are held quite nicely by the...
That's what is my
Yeah.
How long were these to go across a 4-foot bed?
How long will? These are 8-footers.
8 foot?
Yeah. Everything that I'm saying here,
Bottom, right?
I've learned from my friend Tony, who has a lot of expertise, thanks babe, in this stuff, and he made me change my mind about going from the black to this about 3 days ago. That's what's neat about being in the group. And one of the things that we do is we look at each other's gardens. We do it casually, but we also do tours. I highly recommend that you join in, get in the group, and get in on that thing and go looking at each other's gears. Now, I wonder where this stick is. It goes in the center.
Oh, is it still over there?
Yeah, I guess maybe it is. If you would, please. Now, this is a bit floppy back and forth. So, there are clips that you can get for electrical, you know, plumbing, this stuff. Little 1/2 inch ones, and they're very sturdy. In fact, they're so sturdy that you can cut off one of the arms and just have, let me see how this goes. Just the one. That's great. Yeah, that's great. So, if you can see, the clip there is 1/2 a clip.
You can buy them like that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I couldn't find any a couple of days ago in Central Builders, but that's probably true that you can get them this way. They can get bigger ones, but they get smaller. Okay, so this is what we worked out again. This is about 2 days ago.
It's a grace.
Yeah. Simple, simple, simple.
This is all in our handout?
Hey?
This is all in our handout?
Yeah.
It's 8 foot by
Changed a few
1 by
things.
2.
But it's okay. You know, it is okay. And you mess around, and then next year you'll change things again. And, you know, we can get lazy and just stay like that and put the plastic over, or if that looks like it's going to swap, then we can, you know, do whatever we're doing here, right?
You could put 2 other clips on this.
So over there, plastic.
Probably put a drill a hole in that.
Okay, we need to open it up. Sorry, we're talking on the first one. Done. Now, what do you do with the edges? Well, it's going to blow around. At our place, because we've got a small farm, we have a lot of T-bars, iron posts, lying around. So we can just do that and that. However, another consideration is that the area is surrounded or sort of boxed in by at least 2 groups of trees here. So his winter time storms don't have such an effect. Another, this is what I really use, these things. Central builders, they got bunches of these things. I'm going to put this at the bottom corner, but that's what it does. And that is a very firm way of holding on. And we've had winds rattling this thing around, right? So they're cheaper, $10 and you get about 8 of them or something. Yeah. Yeah, bang, 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 bang.
How long do they last?
Don't know.
Outside.
Don't know. The other thing that we haven't done is that we should put the end pieces on. I'm sorry?
What we do with ours is, I think this would be 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Cut a piece about that long.
Coming up to that in a minute.
Okay.
Well, I was,
Oh, and you
but
flip
I
it.
forgot about it. And I put them inside, didn't I? That's what
Yeah, those are the great
ones. Now, this is 1/2 inch thick wall. These are made out of 1/2 inch thin wall. Again, an idea from Tony. Happens to be that if you cut about, I don't know, a little less than half of the circumference,
And it flexes.
bang, it's there. So, yeah, put one for the folks on the other side. Yeah, you really have to push fairly vigorously. I sanded these off to get their sort of sharp edges out of the way, because otherwise it will pierce the plastic. So,
Nick,
you do the minimum.
sorry,
Hi, Tony.
I recommend having little pieces of plastic over that so that you protect the integrity of the big one.
So we're
just
not
little
biting
square
into the
inch,
plastic.
so you have 2-inch square bits of plastic.
So you layer as a protective layer another piece of plastic. So either sand the edges or buffer with a
Yeah, whatever works. Just try something out. Yeah. From here on out, there's various ways to go. As I say, if you've got metal pipes or whatever you have lying around, or a handful of rocks, that can substitute for this thing. What I have in my greenhouse is an El Cheapo version of what proper greenhouses have. You know, the people that spend lots of money and they've got a motorized what's-it-face at the end. You can do that, yeah. Or
And if the weather's fine and it's raining, you just flip one side off and it gets
shut
watered.
it off and
you flip it
away
back
she
on at
goes.
supper
Let the
time.
rain hit. You know, that's what I would have done this morning if the rain had shown up. It needs it. Okay, now the other thing is that we haven't done an end piece on here. Should we just pop off this plastic?
Question.
Okay?
Question.
Good? I don't know yet. You just chuck it off it just depends how you want to go. We could staple, thank you, we could staple a piece of wood to that and sort of throw it all over, an 8-footer, chuck it all back. Which way do you want to go with it? There's not rocket science, it's really simple. Yeah. Is somebody else there?
What then? We got it. It's okay, we've got it answered.
I'm sorry?
How thick was the poly?
6 mil. Everything is 6 mil, and you don't have to go for what they used to call Durafilm 4. All the poly that you buy nowadays is UV protected. This will last at least 3 years. At least 3 years. And hey, the price is 1/4 of what the other people use. Now, what I have at home, as some of you know, because you've been to our place, is I've got a plywood half moon here and a plywood half moon there. Because our bed is much longer than this, it's 25 or something feet long, we felt that it needed to have some more structure. So if you can handle this, then this is a good idea, I think. Get a piece of plywood or MDF or whatever you've got lying around, which is a little smaller than this. Drill a bunch of holes, get a string and lace it into position. Same on the other end. It really rigidifies this one, really rigidifies that one. And if possible, take a string or a wire from here to a post. And from that end to there, now you've got it locked. It's not going anywhere. But if your place doesn't get much wind, you don't have to be heroic about it. You just do what's necessary. So, or we've got, yeah, we made some little Mickey Mouse ones here. We thought that would be little it's just a roundy job, isn't it? That's not round. We never did get around the clip, did we? Did we? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we can, yeah, so we can do the clip thing. So we can put this on first if you like. Maybe leave a bit of space at the bottom in case you get a really hot day. You can kick this away. You know, it's something that you have to look at every day. You know, but this doesn't relieve you of looking at the garden. It's just that if you're like us, you get up to a dozen kinds of plants that you can fill a bowl with right through the winter. And you can't beat that with a stick. Yeah,
It's raining.
that's all you have. But let me say it again. We get a dozen kinds of vegetables. All sorts of the Chinese and Japanese cabbage type things, all that whole kale family.
Instead of cold frames?
Well, there's cold frames.
What else is good? Garlic, leeks?
We like this because it's bigger per square foot. This is the bitter rebar. $8 for the rebar.
And they'll cut it for you?
Oh yeah, they'll buck it up.
I just went in and said I want 10 people to 18 inches long. $7.85 or something.
Nothing to it. Plastic, I don't know, we bought this stuff with them, like $10 with there, I guess. This stuff, 35 feet, whatever it was. How much? 40 cents growing up, and, 12 bucks, so. But you get your vegetables. You can get all kinds of lettuces, some of the hardy lettuces too.
Mizuna and the arugula love it, and they went all into Molly's.
This is the deal. So most of us have been brought up with the notion that gardening happens May 21st, you pull it out when the first frost comes in. That is so wrong. And that's what I'd like you to see. There's nothing to it.
So
anyway,
you've got
questions? Because otherwise I'm done.
You've got leeks, kale, Mizuna. What is that big leaf one at the back there that's kind of more at the very back?
Collard beans. Yeah.
And did you start these from seed in August?
Lucy knows.
Or would you normally?
On the handout, and please remember we will send you one by whatever means you want. In the handout I've got the dates, the approximate time of the average house here. Of course in Comox you could get away a little later. In Merville you'd have to start a little bit earlier. Some of them have to be started at the end of May in my house to get a really good, decent harvest. Like the winter cabbage, I start them at the end of May. Even though West Coast Seed says, early July is fine. Not at my house. Yeah. Late May I get like a really nice big cabbage. In January or whatever, if it's got enough sun, of course. And then some of the stuff like the greens that we brought today, you can plant them until just about the end of August. And if we get a hot, like I had one year, I planted it the last week of August, and it was so hot. It was 2 years ago. We had a gorgeous September. Well, the thing bolted. It's 5th of September. I'm thinking, oh my God, my stuff is bolting. So then I planted a whole bunch the 5th of September, and those were the ones that gave me the food during the winter.
So it depends on the weather.
This year, I always start, mid-August, end of August, sort of those green things. And in the case of kale, you can start it as early as, May if you want. Then you get a bigger plant. If you don't, you can start it now. You're not going to have as big of a plant. You're going to have less shoots and leaves in the spring. You're still going to have shoots and leaves. So the bigger the plant, the less plants you'll need or something. But all the dates, I put the dates in the handout anyway. For what has worked for me so far that I've tried and so it's there, but it's not too late to start the leafies and stuff like that. It might be too late to start the root vegetables.
Carrots.
Which root vegetables you don't need that anyway. You just need mulch. And stuff you want me to drop all my
See, what about Brussels sprouts? I remember you had Brussels sprouts.
Oh, no. That's the one. The Brussels sprout is the hardest thing ever to grow, but you love them. We love them. You just gotta protect them from the bugs. Brussels sprouts are great, but it's just the bugs just love them. And July, August, it's like, am I gonna win the war against the aphids and the cabbage fly and whatever? So it is, it's.
And have a look too. I forgot about this is Lucy's highly affordable.
Sometimes you don't sleep at night and you think, well, how could I do that? And then so there it is. It's mine is, it's easier to do. It's a bit cheaper because it's smaller. And it's portable. So if you have a small garden and you don't have too much wind, I don't have too much wind. Nick has got more. I don't, and my house it's not as cold as Nick, but it's not Comox anyway. So I use that for, that's it. I just pick it up. I use it for two things. Let's say now I'm going to start soon, like my winter lettuce and winter arugula and winter all these things. I'm going to start that soon. So then, like come September, sometime it's cold at night, I just take that, plunk it on top of the pot, because at this point it's in pot, because my garden is still busy. So it's I don't know, you could look at it very, very simple. And I just put like a piece of plastic, then I put a crack in it. The thing though, in a winter, if you think you're going away in Hawaii for 2 weeks, well, you gotta make sure that your stuff doesn't cook, because I'd rather have it freeze than cook in the winter. And if my stuff is like that, well, nicely tight and all protected, and it's a nice sunny, warmer day, the stuff is gonna be too hot, it's gonna be stressed. So what I do in the morning before I go to work anyway, I just do that and I do that, and then I just put my clothespin and whatever. I mean, I do whatever works. I've been just too busy to really get a proper system, but it worked. It worked in the winter. I got stuff. And the things that was inside that was way better. It's almost like a greenhouse. I have one greenhouse, but it's a really cheap one. It's drafty and everything. And so this thing is almost as good as a greenhouse. The bigger the space, the more the temperature will be buffered. So if you have, like, even if this flush would be 10 times bigger, you'd have a bigger buffer difference. So it would cook less if it's hot, and it would freeze less if it's cold. If it's just like, let's say you have like a clear ice cream container that you put on top of a plant, it's gonna work, but again, that's gonna be worse. If it's hot, it's really gonna cook, and if it's cold, it's gonna freeze more. Your things will freeze anyway. Even like my greenhouse, sometime if it's like -10 at night and -8 for 2 weeks, my stuff is frozen stiff for about a week in there. Not the ground, but all the plants. Well, we plant stuff that can withstand freezing, thawing, and it comes back to life. It's just amazing. It looks limpy, it looks completely dead. And then, like, okay, weather warms up, and then it just sort of come back to life. It's pretty amazing. But those things, like the kale, usually I don't cover it, because I cover just the stuff that is more, like more sensitive, So kale, I don't bother. And then, but let's say if I have arugula. Arugula, I had it outside not protected and in those things. And outside not protected, one winter I lost it because it was really like -15 and the ground just froze, even though, it does get to -15 sometimes. It got to -17, the coldest. And I try to keep track of temperature because, I'm observing and stuff.
I wonder if we should see if these folks have got any particular questions that we're not getting to yet. Is there anything else that we haven't gone near that you're wondering about in the building of these things?
I got one question about this. It appears that you've got a net stand there, about 8 yards of soil.
Yeah. How much? In here?
Yeah.
No. 1 by 4, 32. Yeah, I guess we have. I'm sure. No, 1 yard. 1 yard.
1 yard.
Just over a yard and a half or something. Yeah. They've got 30 cubic feet. 4 by 8. Where's it? 32. It's a foot deep. And 27 cubic feet, cubic yards.
So how do you prepare the soil for each of the operations you have?
We've got this all from one source.
Is it the one up on Ryan Road? Guy with the great soil, I heard.
This was the Cumberland place, wasn't it?
The Cumberland place, yeah. There's
Yeah,
a place in Cumberland on the road, on the connector when you're going to Cumberland.
The big recycling place, just
Powerhouse
Powerhouse Automotive.
stones, and they have a bit of topsoil there.
Yeah.
And it seems good.
Topsoil, you have to look around, you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's a scarce commodity. But you can also mix in seaweed if you can find it, grass clippings, manure, hay, any organic amendment, you mix it in and then it will cook.
Yeah. Any further questions?
Yeah, Nick? Nick,
Yes.
how do you find like these for condensation and water affecting the
Are we
plants?
talking about this?
Well, yeah, the cupboard.
You want to have a look at things and see how they're going. I mean, it's just like your pet or your garden or anything. If it's really quite cold and clammy in there, give it a bit of air. You know, kick up a corner or two, upwind and downwind. Yeah.
So
you have to play with things because it's very different from one place to another.
Does the cloche go on only when it starts getting cool then? So you'd start this and have it normal summer garden as it starts to grow, and then cloche it, have it ready?
September-ish, kind of, sort of. It depends. The weather will tell you what to do. The plants will tell you what to do, right? You know, they'll tell you
and
when
if
they
your
need
plants
watering.
are small, if they're really small because you started them late and they're, please grow, grow, grow. Well, you could put that, it would sort of give them a warmer day. But again, make sure that you give them air because it could cook in there. So that's, I mean, almost every day I lift that up, except when it stays minus during the day when it stays flat, you know, and stuff. But that's been my observation.
Any further questions here? Yes.
What about watering?
Flip it off and water it. If it's going to rain, if it's a nice warm rain, take it off, away you go.
And full sun, of course.
Well, in the winter sometimes it's easier because if you have like leafy trees, then you know in the winter they're going to get their sun anyway. But yes, obviously, because the days are so short in December, whatever daylight they will need it,
The real step one to this is before you do anything,
where the sun is.
Where's the sun? Okay, the sweep of the sun is there. Well, you don't build way over by the trees. You get as far north as you can.
Does it go without saying that it should be in an area that's deer-proof?
Good luck, eh?
This place is being just nicely pruned, courtesy of not having a gate there. So, you need a 7 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, or a couple of dogs. We have dogs.
Could you do this on concrete?
Concrete?
Or do the plants need
There's a fellow, John, the big tall fellow.
Oh yeah, John Patrick,
Is that his name? John Patrick, who was making bits that would lap together with a 4-foot long section, so we'd have one at the end and sort of put it together like Lego and drop a bit of rebar down the hole.
Do you mean on top of concrete?
No,
on
a patio.
Oh, you want it to drain.
It's like a pot.
You gotta have it drain.
But you're gonna have like mucky thing seeping out of each side and
stand it up. You give it an inch or two.
Give it to breathe.
Just play with it.
How does the cardboard relate if you've got tree roots?
Let's hope if they're long body poplars, I don't know what you do. It's a problem, but you don't want to put plastic down as attractive an idea that might seem, because you've now blocked drainage and respiration for the lower soil and everything. You know, oxygen's got to get in there. They got to breathe just as we do. So,
more cardboard, I don't know. I use newspaper, by the way, if you don't have cardboard.
Yeah, that's what I said, about 15 sheets of newspaper.
Yeah, that's a good idea, depending on the toughness of weed and the thickness of the soil you're going to put on it.
Any further questions? Yes.
That skyrocket, does that take you with
Oh, well, no. I mean, I'm reading the book From Cradle to Cradle, and I don't know if any of you know that book, but boy, they'd say absolutely never, ever go near anything that's come out of a septic system or sewage system. Their literature says that it's rich and ready to go and it's got fiber and all the rest of it, but they never ever say to grow a food crop on it. Not unless they change things in the last little while. Eh?
We actually called. We called to find out if they'd tested the soil for drug residues and things, because that's one of the concerns now is heart medication and contraceptives and things. And they said, well, we've done testing and it's fine, but what they tested for was E. coli and things.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's actually in terms of the chemicals in
all
it,
the
it's a completely
hormonal
different
stuff.
story. Yeah, I wouldn't.
They test for heavy metals, and for heavy metals because it's the law. They have to test for heavy metals, and they're fine for heavy metals.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you that they don't test for any pharmaceutical, all the estrogens, all the antidepressants, all the chemical that people take. They're in there.
It seems like an easy fix, but I wouldn't go for it. We happen to have a few sheep, so that solves our problem for giving nutrient to the soil. And seaweed, again, go to the first big southeaster after the summer, you go up to the Driftwood restaurant, halfway to Campbell River, you look down there, you better take a big truck. Absolutely. Every garbage can you can find. Well, why not? There's a ton of it there. And it'll go back there anyway. You know, we're all in a cycle here. Anyway, are there further questions?
If you don't have a handout, and you would like one, please write your name and your phone number and your email address if you have one on the list over there on the table, and we will get you one.
Thank you very much for coming. We're hugely pleased.
How do you sign up for Seed Savers if you want to participate?
I don't know. Are you doing a Seed Saver sign-up thing? Do we have our...
When is your next meeting?